there's only one person that could have parked the vehicle over here, and that's Thomas himself. Okay? However, his remains were found way over here, 16 miles away. Durango, Thomas's remains over here. Durango, Thomas's remains over here. And the only way you could have gotten over there was walking. At 16 miles. How long does it take to walk 16 miles? Very, very long time. But his vehicle was located within 2 hours. If he was walking 2 hours, the furthest he probably could have gotten was somewhere in here. And if he, of course, was taking the road, he would be up here somewhere. And somehow, Christian and her father, looking around in their helicopter, did not see Thomas walking that morning. It would take several hours, maybe all day, to walk from where the Durango was to where Lake Marvin is, where his remains were found. Whereas people were, of course, already looking for him, and there was somebody up in the air in a helicopter looking for him. There are people, and it would be daylight, the sun would be up, and it was a nice day. There wasn't any rain or anything like that. Of course, if there had been lightning or anything, I don't think they'd go up in the helicopter. It was a great day to fly. There are people going up Formby Road. Nobody sees him. Christian and her father up in a helicopter, flying around this area, looking for him, looking for his vehicle. Don't see him at all. This is the reason that the suicide, the idea that Thomas ran off and everything, is completely insane. All right? Anybody who says that is just not paying attention to the facts and locations, times, dates, everything else. Now, could I believe it? Could I maybe on the very edge believe if somebody could prove that this Durango was here, parked here at 12:30 at night, and then he had all this time during the night to walk this road the whole way, and then maybe by daybreak he'd be way down here and something? Yes. I still, of course, I don't believe he committed suicide. Either way. But if you're telling me that he could have walked this during the night, parking the car, getting rid of this stuff on the way, and then made it the whole way down here to Lake Marvin under the cover of darkness, okay. It's not a very busy road. He would see headlights coming. He could jump into the bushes, everything. But by Sheriff Lewis and other people's own word, they believe that this vehicle was deposited here at 6:30 in the morning, 1 hour before daybreak. And at daybreak, everybody in Canadian was looking for Thomas. In daylight, there was a helicopter, people driving around, and still he wasn't seen. And whereas he couldn't have gotten very far on foot at all. It's kind of like I think of the movie The Fugitive with Harrison Ford and him being tracked. And they figure out, well, a human male can only travel this far, and so they end up setting up perimeters and everything. This is the same thing with Thomas's case. If we're to believe that he parked this at 6:30 in the morning, there's only so far he could have gotten before daybreak, before everybody's looking for him, with the help of the sun, with a helicopter, people probably driving on Formby Road and everywhere else, and somehow he was able to avoid all of them. Just not possible. Just not possible. So, that's what really, and I think that I've thought this before, but somehow it got pushed to the back of my mind. But being there and seeing all this kind of brought it into focus. And of course, I had this long drive back from Amarillo, had a long chance to think about that while I was listening to Iron Maiden. What this show tells me is something else, though. All that time the night before where people were riding around, Tucker with Pine Gregory, Christian, Caleb, Penny, everybody driving around this area, and none of them ever saw Thomas's Durango, of course, presuming that Thomas would have been in it. It's very clear to me where his vehicle was that night. You know where it was? It was out at Lake Marvin. Whoever murdered him was out there. This person or persons would know that people were probably already looking for him. And so they hung out out here, putting his remains out there, disposing of the phone, the backpack, and everything. And then right before daybreak, when they couldn't wait it out any longer, they drove back into town, drove up past Alexander's, trying to get the vehicle on camera, trying to make it look, it would be like, as Nathan Lewis said, Thomas going home and then saying goodbye and then leaving again. And then seemingly they went right down 2nd Street of Canadian Texas and right out and parked right here. That's why nobody... So I guess what I'm saying is it is very possible that the red SUV in the video that I have is Thomas's vehicle, even though you can see no writing in it. But like I said, I think I've already explained that away by saying that I think all the windows were down on it. That's why his vehicle wasn't seen. We've been talking for a long time about why his vehicle wasn't seen that night. Why? Because it was way over here at Lake Marvin. Somebody was waiting it out until right before daybreak. Now, you should know one more thing before I... So the suicide, this Penny is even asked about that is crazy. Anybody who asks her about that has no knowledge of this case whatsoever. Zero. It's only furthering rumors, and I'm not getting into that either because I've heard the rumors on the rumors about where that rumor started. One more thing. You should know, and I'm not going to mention any names, but there are several people whose names have popped up in this murder now that live within very easy walking distance of where the Durango was found. They don't live down here where Penny used to live on the south side of town. They live on the northeast part of town and could have walked from the Durango to their house probably within 5 to 10 minutes. And that is a fact. The fact that their names have been brought up in this disappearance are a fact, and the fact of where they lived or live is a fact, and the fact and where the Durango was parked is a fact. Those are all facts. So I will just leave you with that. That is not theorizing. That's just telling you where people live. That you can just go on. If you know who I'm talking about, you can find that out for yourself. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I thank you all for watching. And that's all I got to say. Thanks for watching.